So as you can tell, I'm a musician. But I'm also, and I'm also an educator. And the focus of everything I'm about to share with you has come with experience of doing this, from composing music, writing, producing, playing, and then teaching, from the little ones to grandpa and grandma. I was born in Colombia, South America, and my friends, I just realized that I've been in New York or in the United States living longer than I live in Colombia, and kind of getting old. And my friends in Colombia, they say that I became a gringo. Well, my friends here in the United States, they say that sometimes I'm too laid back. When you come to this country, I was able to come here to study. It's something I thank my parents for being able to help me accomplish that. I went to University of North Texas and I got my bachelor's and master's degrees as a jazz musician. And then I went back to Colombia for a year, and then for two reasons I ended up in New York. Number one, my wife. And then the dream of New York, and New York felt right to me. New York felt like, this is it. Why? Because in New York, I'm able to be an acceptor for where I come from, and yet be able to be around so many cultures which always attracted me. I like to learn. And when you come to the United States, there is a process already very together, very strong method of arrival, because everyone who arrives here, the idea is to adapt, and adapt very quickly. And the country provides that help. You are able to rent a place, open a phone line, bank account. Everything is in place for you to start being productive almost immediately. And this exchange, you ended up having in the workplace people from all over the world who are already adapting to this system. Some have to work more than others, depending on where they come from. But that exchange of culture doesn't go very deep. When people come to the States, they usually go close to their families, or maybe close to people who speak the same language or come from the same area or share the same religious beliefs. And once you leave work, something happens after. When you sit with your neighbors and when you sit with different people that you're being introduced to, and suddenly you're sharing your food and the music that you like. And all the different things that start to come out in that common place where maybe there are many people who don't have many friends, and they show their best face. It's like starting a date. Everyone is so willing, and they say, this is what I love about my country, and this is the food. Do you try this? And we think this way. And then at the same time, you start to get all this information. And it's like, wow, I didn't know sushi tasted so good. I've been talking about raw fish. That was something that was new for me. It puts you in a place of love. You share the best and you receive the best from people. It's been 10 years since the election of President Obama that I started to think about the American culture and what it is. And now I call it my culture, since I became a citizen 4 years ago. And right now I feel like we're sort of looking ourselves and looking at trying to define, what is American culture. And depending on where you are from, you get different points of view. You, you start to see a mirror in different phases, and the answer, the definition that you get from people is always different. And to me, it's something that I just see potential. I see I see richness, and I see an opportunity for this to become even a greater place. Some others don't see it that way, and they want to change it and go back to the way it used to be and alter it. And once again, we come to that thought that for us to be able to advance, because I don't think it's all we need is to look at reality and the way things are. We just need to face it with love. And when that happens, change happens. I'm going to give you an example. I learned to iron my clothes here. And it's especially important when you learn by example. That happens to be from my father-in-law, who happens to be a lieutenant colonel of the Air Force. And this privilege doesn't belong to every Colombian man. It's something that has been designated to women. So I feel, it was inspiring to me, and I learned, and it could be a small thing, but it isn't. It has to do with adaptation and being able to look at things and say, okay, what can we get out of this? What can we get out of this conflict? I think about what I do, music, and at the beginning of the 20th century, you have a lot of Cubans coming and Puerto Ricans coming to New York, and they happen to start running into the great jazz musicians in the streets. After they play gig, you will have the Cubans playing with Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie and jamming. And then now we're talking about the concept of the philosophy of jazz, which it's an American thing that has been exported all over the world and is recognized as a symbol of human expression and freedom, being adapted right now to many cultures as a concept. Because we talk about melody and harmony, but rhythm is the language of the culture. That's what defines the people. Yet, there are many things that could be shared. So, from that relationship, now we have Latin jazz. And then the Puerto Ricans and the Cubans started to really enjoy the music of the 50s, and we look at Memphis and soul music, and then we had Boogaloo. And then and just raise your hand if you recognize this rhythm. Anybody knows what that rhythm is? Bossa Nova. Oh, the Brazilians came in. And it's part of it. You look at jazz book and the creation of Bossa Novas in the United States is immense. There is so many Bossa Novas. It really inspired the spirit of the people here in the States. It's another type of American music. Oh, then salsa music. Hold on. Salsa music, which I have performed in El Paso, Texas. I have performed in Pella, Iowa. I have danced in Spokane, Washington. Everyone recognizes what salsa music it is, and it's a mix of more cultures, based on Cuban rhythms, yes. But it's a mix of many cultures that Puerto Rican also pushed and became an identity for the people here. And we're talking about a couple of generations already. Now I'm going to say I have a privilege to have the best Colombian bass player with the best Colombian name. His name is Dave Hertzberg. And a drummer which all I need is to show his setup of a drum to understand that we share the same concept. He's got instruments from all over the world. His name is Franco Pinna from Tucumán, Argentina. So I would like to play for you a piece, a composition which is based on a Colombian rhythm called bambuco, with the influence of jazz and with the love and care of a place that is now helping me raise my children and have my family. So this is called Bambuco at TEDxTarrytown. And to close, it is like Italian pizza. I went to Naples, it's not the same American pizza. It's quite different, and American pizza is being produced every day. Different version of it. It's American food. Please put some love, try some exotic American music. You might like it. Thank you very much.